Hello everyone and welcome to another book reading night. It is Wednesday night and we are reading Loose Ends. We are going to reread chapters 14 because I got cut off yesterday, and then we're going to read chapters 15 and 16. So I'm Christy and I'm going to be joined by, of course, Michelle. So hello, thank you for joining us again. To get my filter back on here. Hey.
Hi.
There we go. That looks much better. Okay.
I like these filters. Hey, yo.
I know, right?
How you doing?
I don't feel like doing makeup today. Let's just put filter on. No joke. Like, seriously.
Whoever creates the first, you don't have to do your makeup, it does itself thing, they're going to make a lot of money.
Yeah, for real. Definitely going to make a lot of money. It's nice. So.
Am I blurry? Clear?
You're clear. Am I clear?
You're blurry.
Dang it. Cox! Dang you, Cox.
And now I'm just worried it's going to cut you out again like it did with you and Jess yesterday.
Okay.
Because this is what you looked like yesterday when you and Jess were talking, and then all of a sudden you would just go.
I restarted my phone to try to see if that would prevent that from happening this time, because one time I couldn't get online for the rewatch because it was not connecting, and then when I reset my phone, then it worked. So I'm hoping this is the same type of situation. But
you're more clear.
Now I switched to my non-Wi-Fi network. I switched to my Sprint network.
What do you think? Not blurry now? Okay. Good. Nice.
Not blurry now. We got to get rid of the technical difficulties before we start, because that's always an issue.
That's how we got to start every live, it seems, these days.
Because everyone's on Instagram Live. I think that's part of it too.
Everybody's quarantined, so they're looking for other ways to hang out with their friends, and this is, I guess, the most popular way.
Wow, tons of celebrities are doing lives all the time now too, so it's a thing.
I know, we're like competing with Justin Bieber. I mean, what do we got to do here?
Justin Bieber, oh my gosh.
Picking up our airwaves. The beeps.
The filter. All right, that's good. All right. So,
do you want to do 14 again, and then I'll do 15, and you can do 16?
I will do 14. Oh, while I do, prepare to do 14. Do you want to talk about the charity that we're trying to support? And then I'll put that in the comments.
Can you? I'm gonna have to turn off my Wi-Fi too, because you're freezing. I gotta figure out how to do this without exiting this.
Technical difficulty.
So I'm not super familiar with No Kid Hungry, although I can imagine by the title, we don't want any kids to go hungry, so this is you can donate.
Yes.
Do you like how
yes. It is for all the kids in the United States, because we're trying to end hunger for kids specifically in the United States, and it does help them, especially helping through this pandemic. And
nice.
Doing all of that. So, yes, you can look at nokidhungry.org.
Nice.
For more info. So I'm typing that.
Is Jess here? I don't see Jess.
I don't see Jess either. It's so hard to type with these nails.
Yeah, I can't do nails.
I don't think I'm going to be
Hi,
doing nails
welcome.
after this for a while. Oh, that's a nice filter.
This should be how I read. You think?
That would be pretty cool, actually.
With the shades on? I think I would distract myself, although this is a very interesting filter. Okay. We'll go with it.
Okay. All right, now that we've got all the technical difficulties and fun with filters and highlighted our charity for tonight, I will reread chapter 14, which unfortunately got cut off last night. So fingers crossed that won't happen tonight and that Instagram will work with us and won't be
Perfect.
mean to us. So, oh, sorry about that. That was my laundry going off. I don't know if you heard that.
Somebody's there.
Yeah. Lots of laundry to do before I leave Friday for my trip. So, okay.
Nice.
Chapter 14. Yeah. Liz Parker's journal. Sunday, June 3rd. I don't know who I am anymore. Am I the Liz Parker who successfully coped, more or less, with the discovery that human alien hybrids lived among us, even right next to me at school? Or am I the Liz Parker who, all of a sudden, can't get past the fact that I was shot by accident 2 years ago? Alex says that it's post-traumatic stress disorder, and he's probably right. Alex was always more interested in psychology than I was. I'm more of a hard sciences kind of girl. At least I was before I ran into Joe Morton again, 800 feet beneath the ground. Now I feel more like a test animal than a laboratory scientist, like a frightened white mouse being forced to take part in some cruel psychological experiment, which I suspect I'm bunking. Why, I don't even have enough strength to run through any mazes, which must be terribly disappointing to whoever's conducting this experiment. I'm rambling, I know, but I don't know what else to do. I was hoping that writing in this journal would help me make sense of things, maybe put my traumatic memories behind me, but it doesn't seem to be working. I'm all alone here in this gloomy motel room with the curtains drawn and the blankets pulled up to my armpits so that I don't have to look at that silver handprint again. I want to be with Max and the others, but I'm afraid to even step outside for fear that Joe Morton will find me again. Which is irrational, I realize. Morton wasn't even trying to kill me in the first place. It was all one big stupid accident, like you hear about on the news all the time. Innocent bystander hit by stray gunshot. No big deal. But I almost died, for good. And that's the part that I can't forget anymore, even when I try to close my eyes and go to sleep. Except for one weird moment last night, when right in the middle of that same awful nightmare about the shooting, I suddenly found myself reliving a completely different incident. That time when Max and I double dated with Alex and Isabel after that silly James Bond movie. Where did that come from? So what do I do now? Talking to a psychiatrist wouldn't do any good. Last fall, after that whole mess with Tess and Aceto and the special unit, Max's parents made him see a shrink for a couple of sessions. But it was a big waste of time because Max couldn't tell the doctor anything about what had really happened to him. I just run into the same exact problem. How can I discuss what happened at the crash down when I can't even mention being shot? And how do I explain to an ordinary shrink where this weird glowing handprint came from? I guess I have to cure myself somehow, but how can I do that when I don't even know who I am? When I look in the mirror, I can barely recognize myself, and not just because Isabel turned me into a redhead. Who's that pale, trembling, pathetic little mouse I see where my own reflection should be? That's not who I want to be. That's not who I am. Alex said I have to confront my fears, so I guess that's what I'm going to have to do, no matter how terrified I feel. One way or another, I have to stop feeling like a victim, even if it kills me. Do you have a preference on which chapter you read? 15 or 16?
I can do 15, and then if you want to pop back in on 16. It looks like they're all really short.
Yeah, thankfully we don't have a long, like 23-page chapter tonight.
Yeah, that one gets you. All right. Maxwell, we need to talk. Perched in the back of the Jeep, keeping watch over Morton's motel room and convertible, Max lowered his binoculars as Michael approached the parked vehicle. He scowled impatiently, squinting against the intense morning sunshine. Have I ever told you how annoying I find that nickname? He grumbled. Trust me, you've got bigger problems, bro, Michael informed him as he clambered into the front seat of the Jeep, then twisted around so he could speak to Max directly. Although it wasn't even 11 yet, the temperature in the quiet motel parking lot was already climbing towards the upper 90s. Michael wiped his sweaty brow with the front of his t-shirt and put on a pair of shades to protect his eyes from the glare. You see what I did there?
Nice.
It's way too hot out here. Maybe lose my spot. It's way too hot out here, he decided. Lousy weather for a stakeout. Like what? Max asked skeptically. Dark circles shadowed his eyes, and Michael noted other signs of strain in his friend's face and manner. His face looked gaunt and sunburned, while his whole body seemed noticeably tensed and jittery. He fidgeted with the binoculars in his lap and kept looking away from Michael to check on the Chevy parked on the other side of the busy highway. Was Max's ragged state caused by simple lack of sleep and concern for Liz, Michael wondered, inspecting his friend carefully, or was Maria right and something more serious was going on? Tell you the truth, Max, you've looked better. Not wasting any time with chit-chat, Michael confronted Max with Maria's theory that the young alien leader had picked up a bad case of post-traumatic stress disorder via his intimate connection with Liz. Kind of like catching mono, if you know what I mean. Let me just say, I've never had these long of sentences in my life in a book. It's like the most run-on sentence I've ever read out loud. Okay. Max responded with instant denial. So what are you saying, Michael, that I'm suffering from the emotional equivalent of secondhand smoke or something? Don't be ridiculous, he sneered at the notion. And since when are we taking psychiatric advice from Maria DeLuca of all people? I mean, no offense, Michael. Maria's a sweet person and all, but she's definitely a bit on the flaky side. As opposed to your girlfriend who freaks out when a flock of bats fly overhead? Biting down on his tongue, Michael resisted the temptation to spring to Maria's defense. That's not the point, he argued. The sun was baking his brains, but he knew he had to get through to Max somehow. You and I both know that you've been acting weird ever since Liz spotted Morton at the caverns. Not at all, Max insisted defensively. I'm just taking seriously a serious situation the same way I always do. You heard what Isabel said. Not only is Morton's crooked deal mixed up with the crash somehow, but he also knows about Liz, which puts her in genuine danger. Excuse me if that makes me a little uncomfortable. He turned his back on Michael and placed the binoculars back over his eyes, once more aiming the lenses across the street at the closed door to room 19. Now then, if your little one-man intervention is over, I'm kind of busy here. But Michael wasn't about to be dismissed so easily. Bullshit, he told Max bluntly. He leaned back between the Jeep's front seats and roughly snatched the binoculars away from Max's face. I want to keep Liz safe and find out what Morton's up to as much as you do, but that's what we're talking about here. You look me in the eye and tell me that you weren't on the verge of completely losing control last night up on the ridge. I saw your hand heating up like an... What? Acetylene torch last night. Whoever knows how to say that word, let us know. Max, and don't tell me you didn't do that on purpose. His face flushed with anger. Max grabbed wildly for the stolen binoculars, which Michael defiantly held up above over his head out of Max's reach. Give me those, Michael, he growled, clenching his fists at his sides. I don't have time for this psychobabble garbage. No way, Max. Michael stood up on the Jeep's front floorboard, making sure Max could not get his hands back on the binoculars. Not until you admit that there's something seriously wrong with you, that you're not acting like yourself. The blazing sun beat down on Michael's head and shoulders, toasting the back of his neck and making him even more in a hurry to make his traumatized friend see sense. Look at me, Max, he challenged. Tell me everything's okay with you. I want to hear you say it. Damn it, Michael, Max roared, the veins in his neck standing out like hydraulic cables. He threw up his hand and unchecked power burst from his open palm. A blinding flash hit Michael like a tidal wave, sending him tumbling backward over the Jeep's windshield and onto the vehicle's hot metal hood. The impact knocked the wind out of him, and the binoculars flew out of his fingers, crashing to the pavement several yards away. After sitting in the sun all morning, the Jeep's army green hood seared his bare arms where they came in contact with the overheated metal. Still somersaulting backward, Michael managed to use his own momentum to roll awkwardly off the Jeep onto the blacktop below, landing with a thud upon the baking asphalt. Ouch, he thought, wincing in pain. Did someone get a license number of that ballistic missile? Fortunately, the Days Inn parking lot wasn't terribly active this late in the morning, most of the visiting tourists having already gotten an early start on the day's sightseeing and outdoor activities. Even still, Michael felt obliged to leap instantly to his feet, ignoring his bruised and battered flesh, and call out to whomever might be listening. I'm cool, nothing to worry about, just a little fall, clumsy me. A pair of slow-moving senior citizens wearing matching Hawaiian shirts and straw hats regarded Michael uncertainly from the sidewalk in front of the motel. How much had they seen? He worried, hoping that the entire incident that had happened much too quickly for any eyewitnesses to really grasp what Max had done. Sorry for the excitement, folks, Michael said loudly, brushing the dust and grit of the parking lot from his arms and clothes. A flashbulb went off by mistake, he improvised, despite the absence of any visible camera. Gave me a bit of a start, I guess, but I'm okay now, just a couple of bumps and scrapes, and that's all. In fact, his ribs felt like they had been pounded on with a sledgehammer, making him flinch with every breath, and there was a suspicious black scorch mark on the front of his t-shirt, which, quickly turning away from two apprehensive retirees, he made disappear. Is anyone buying this? He wondered, fully aware of just how lame his impromptu explanation sounded. Or am I ending up on the front page of Weekly World News, or maybe on America's Most Incriminating Alien Videos? He held his breath as the elderly couple shook their heads disapprovingly and muttered darkly among themselves, but then continued on their way to the coffee shop, apparently not wanting to get any more involved in whatever suspicious activity the two teenage boys were involved in. Thank God, Michael thought, expelling a sigh of relief once it became obvious that the two old folks were not about to start screaming, "Alien!" That was a close one, he realized. The crisis averted, Michael turned towards Max, who stood frozen at the back of the Jeep, staring in dismay at his own open hand. He looked utterly crestfallen, a mixture of shock and remorse written all over his face, which had gone pale beneath the outer layer of sunburn. "Oh my God, Michael," he exclaimed, hopping out of the Jeep and rushing across the pavement to where Michael stood, grimacing in pain. "Are you all right?" "Well, I think I'm going to think twice about getting between you and a vendetta again," Michael said wryly. After furtively looking around to make sure no one was watching, he pulled up his t-shirt to inspect the damage, which turns out to consist of a nasty black and purple bruise concentrated over his breastbone. Most of his chest was sore and sensitive to the touch, but thankfully nothing felt broken or seriously injured. "I'll live," he stated. The sight of the ugly bruise caused Max's face to collapse. "God, Michael, you've got to believe me. I never meant to. I didn't want..." Guilt and horror rendered Max momentarily speechless, and his hands drooped limply at his sides, as if he was afraid to raise them at all. "I'm so sorry, Michael." "I know that man," Michael said, letting Max off the hook. "I don't know what's more amazing," he marveled, "that Max would use his powers against me, or that he would do so in public and in broad daylight, no less." Michael leaned against the side of the Jeep, taking some of the load off his feet. "Maybe now, though, you'll admit you've got a problem." He gave his friend a knowing look. "The Max Evans I know does not go around blasting his buddies in a motel parking lot." Max nodded soberly. He stared at the pavement, unable to meet Michael's gaze. "Yeah, maybe you're right," he admitted after a moment or two. "There have been a couple of times this weekend when, I felt like maybe I was losing control." He looked up at last, letting Michael see the anguish in his eyes. "I can't help it, though. Whenever I see Morton or even think about him, it's like I'm back at the Crashdown, watching Liz slip away right before my eyes." "That's textbook, man." Despite his aching ribs, he smiled wolfishly, thinking that maybe a bruised chest was a small price to pay to get Max to listen seriously to what he had to say. According to Maria, who learned about all of this from Alex, who read about it in a book somewhere, you've got yourself a classic case of post-traumatic stress disorder. Max frowned, disliking anything that impaired his ability to take care of his responsibilities, which included protecting both Liz and his fellow alien hybrids. "So what do I do about it?" "Well, maybe you listen to your friends when they tell you that you're losing it. Let us provide a reality check for you whenever those crash-down flashbacks start getting a little too intense. Beyond that," Michael shrugged his shoulders, "do I look like a shrink to you?" "More like 150 pounds of freshly pounded ground meat," Max joked, sounding more like his old self for the first time in over 24 hours. He nodded at Michael's black and blue torso. "Let's head back to the room and get that healed right away," he suggested. Aren't you afraid Morton will sneak away while you're not looking? Michael asked him pointedly. He looked past Max to the Motel 6 across the way. Max hesitated, looking back over his shoulder at the hated gunman's current lair. Clashing priorities warred behind his eyes as indecision caused his lips to twitch. Then he shook his head and turned his attention back to Michael. Maybe if we hurry right back, he proposed uneasily. Now it's Michael's turn to shake his head. Not so fast, he said firmly. I appreciate the thought, Max, old pal, but I want to find out what's inside that damn briefcase, too. Moving slowly to maximize the wear and tear on his sore ribs, Michael retrieved the binoculars from where they had fallen a few yards away from the Jeep. One lens had cracked, but a moment's concentration repaired the glass, making the instrument as good as new. Next, he gingerly climbed back into the back of the Jeep, gritting his teeth against the pane, and turned the binoculars on Morton's door, which appeared not to have budged an inch during the time Michael had knocked some sense into Max by letting Max knock the wind out of him. Go get Alex or Isabel or somebody to take over the stakeout, he suggested, and then we can apply some old-fashioned alien healing techniques to my ribs. Morton must be sleeping late, Michael deduced, after his late night hunting through the slaughter canyon. So he asked Max, before the other youth could go for reinforcements. Do you have a plan for getting at that case? Of course, Max declared, as if it went without saying. What do you think I've been thinking about out here besides wanting to teach Morton what an alien abduction really feels like? His voice held a trace of something malice and resentment. Don't worry, though. I'll run the details by you just in case I've completely lost my mind, you know. Thanks, Michael said. I'll let you know about that after I've heard your plan.
By the way, when you read moving slowly it's to minimize. I think you said to maximize the wear and tear on his sore ribs.
See, I think positively, always positive. So it just became maximize. And then max, how do you not say maximize? You see what I did there?
Yes. But of course, I'm sure he wants to minimize the wear and tear on his sore ribs, because if he maximized it, I'm sure he'd be in some pain. But I just
Max already maximized it.
All right then. So for the donation link, I realize you can donate as low as $5. You can't just donate $1. So, but it's a great cause. They do actually do also school breakfast, summer meals, after school meals, food, schools, education, and lots of research and policy and advocacy. So just FYI, I think it's great. All right, chapter 16. Here we go. Okay, what we needed is a good distraction, Max declared. Then after Morton and the science guy had been lured away, I'll slip into their room to check out that briefcase. With the exception of Alex, who had volunteered to monitor Morton's hangoff in the Jeep, the gang had crowded into a single motel room to work out the details of Max's plan. Liz sat at the foot of one of the unmade beds, determined to take part in the proceedings, despite the monster-sized butterflies in her stomach and the panicky feeling that came over her every time Morton's name was mentioned. There are a lot of run-on sentences in this book.
I know. You can't even take a breath.
Exactly.
King of the commas, I tell you. Greg Cox is king of the commas.
I can't let the others solve this problem for me, she resolved, not if I want to stop feeling like a helpless victim. The question is, Max continued, what kind of distraction? He sat next to Liz on the bed, his arm around her shoulders. An air conditioner hummed steadily in the background beneath the curtain windows that kept out the late morning sun while also hiding their conference from prying eyes. Slouching against the wall, her arms crossed atop her chest, Isabel sighed dramatically. Just leave that to me, she suggested with a definite air of noblesse oblige, her weary tone implying that this was just one more burdensome task that only she was fully equipped to handle. Maria snorted and rolled her eyes. Let me guess, you're planning to bat your eyelashes and flirt them into a state of total submission? Seated on the other bed, next to Michael, she gave Isabel a trenchant look. Is that like your only plan ever? Max's sister was unfazed by Maria's sarcasm. It's never failed yet, she said with a smirk. Liz saw a pithy retort forming on Maria's lips, but Max interrupted the two women's verbal sparring before it could escalate further. No offense, Isabel, he stated diplomatically, but I think we need something more ambitious. That's certain to keep Morton and his accomplice occupied long enough for me to make a thorough search of their motel room. Why you? Michael objected. He exchanged a meaningful look with Max, which left Liz wondering what exactly she had missed. Remember that little talk we had earlier this morning, Max? Under the circumstances, I'm not so sure that you're the one who should be taking point on this operation. To Liz's slight surprise, Max didn't seem to mind having his strategy questioned by Michael. I see where you're coming from, he replied reasonably, and I appreciate your concerns, but I really think this is something I ought to do. His tone was firm but consolatory. Besides, in theory, I won't be the one dealing with the Morton. That will be the rest of you, which is probably just as well. Why wouldn't Max want to meet up with Morton? Liz thought, puzzled. Yesterday, he had been almost too anxious to confront the hated gunman. Once again, she had the distinct impression that she was missing something. Maybe that little talk Michael had alluded to. Maybe I should ask Max about that later, when we have a little more privacy. Okay, Michael agreed, nodding unenthusiastically. But somebody should go with you, as backup, he insisted, clearly intending that he be that person. A reasonable assumption, Liz conceded, except that she had other ideas. I'll go with Max, she blurted quickly, before she had a chance to chicken out. Her terse announcement caught everyone in the room off guard. No surprise, considering that she'd barely been able to string a coherent sentence together for the last day or so. What? Max exclaimed, shocked and appalled by the mere idea. He held onto her tightly, searching her face with dark, troubled eyes. You can't be serious, Liz, he said softly. Max is right, Maria added forcefully. You really don't have to do this, honey. We can take care of this on our own, I promise. Liz was tempted to give in, especially if it meant not leaving the relative safety of the rented motel room, but knew that she had to resist that impulse if she ever wanted to feel like herself again. No, you don't understand, she spoke out, trying with mixed results to keep her voice from quavering. I have to do this myself. It might be the only way I can put this whole awful nightmare behind me. A thin cotton blouse concealed the glowing handprint on her belly, but Liz could still feel it tingling against her skin, a tangible reminder of her inability to escape her traumatic memories. I need to face my fears directly, just like Alex said. Are you sure, Liz? Max asked gently. She sensed that somehow he understood what she was going through, and why it was so important that she take an active part in this investigation. It could be dangerous, he reminded her. Liz nodded slowly. I know. Okay then, Max said decisively, sounding very much like the deposed ruler of an alien planet. Liz and I will search Morton's room, while the rest of you create a surefire distraction. He took Liz's hand and gave it a reassuring squeeze. We'll get through this together, he promised her. Michael looked uncomfortable with this arrangement, but must have realized that Max's mind was set. Instead of arguing, he just shrugged his shoulders and muttered, Fine, sure, but we still haven't figured out what kind of distraction. A sneaky smile came over Max's handsome face as an idea occurred to him. I think I know just what will do the trick. He leaned towards the others as he whispered conspirationally. Listen. Yes, can I have room number 19, please? Michael said into the cell phone. He waited with sweaty palms for the Motel 6 operator connecting with Morton's room. Isabel sat next to him in the back of the Jeep, chewing nervously on her lower lip as she looked with obvious trepidation. They were on their own now, the rest of the gang having already moved into position, per Max's plan. Michael felt uncomfortable making this call out in the open in the Days Inn parking lot, but they had finally been forced to check out of their twin rooms, which, with any luck, they wouldn't need anymore after Max and Liz discovered what Morton was hiding in that black attache case. Is it attache case or like a tot? I don't even know why I'm pronouncing that right.
You're cutting out, so I can't hear what you're saying.
Is it attache case?
I don't even know.
Case? I don't know. Whatever. It's a black case. Okay. This better be worth it, he thought. Hello, Morton answered crossly. Michael recognized the gunman's raspy voice at the other end of the line. Who is this? My name doesn't matter, Mr. Morton, Michael stated in a hushed conspiratorial tone. The point is, what can I do for you? Wait a second, Morton barked, sounding increasingly agitated. How do you know my name? Where did you get this number from? The temperature in the parking lot was unbelievably hot, but Michael kept his voice cool. I believe we have a mutual acquaintance, Mr. Morton, a Lieutenant David Ramirez. Ramirez? Michael could easily imagine Morton's shocked expression. That's impossible. I never gave Ramirez this number. Oops, Michael thought. Still, the mention of the comprised test pilot's name, it definitely caught Morton's attention. Perhaps you've underestimated Lieutenant Ramirez's sources, Michael hinted ominously. The alien team thought he heard another voice babbling worriedly in the background. No doubt the unnamed lab technician wondering what was going on. Shut up, Morton snapped at his roommate before speaking over the phone again. What's this all about? He demanded savagely. I understand you're interested in certain merchandise related to a certain aviation accident that occurred 50-some years ago. Michael hoped his vague allusion to the Roswell crash would pique the gunman's curiosity. Two could play the cryptic references game. He thought vindictively. Such seeming discretion helped him to pretend that he knew more about Morton's mysterious business than he actually did. Isn't that so, Mr. Morton? Michael deliberately mentioned the killer's name at every opportunity, the better to unnerve Morton. Anything to keep him from hanging up, he resolved. Maybe, Morton said suspiciously, but we shouldn't say anything about that. Not now. This isn't a secure line. His gruff voice grew even more menacing. Don't call this number again. You got that? Sure, Michael said. Whatever. He refused to be intimidated. Meet me at the Denny's across the street, ASAP. I'll be waiting. Morton started to protest, angrily refusing to be dictated to by an anonymous voice. But Michael silenced him by dropping in another incriminating name. Bring that science guy with you, the one from Las Cruces. Michael heard Morton gulp nervously. Hey, how do you know about that? He practically shouted. All of Michael's inside information was clearly getting to the paranoid gunman. Who the hell are you? Morton's flustered tone brought a smirk to Michael's lips. Figuring he'd baited the trap sufficiently, the youthful alien issued his invitation one more time. Both of you, Denny's, right now, he insisted. Don't keep me waiting. He hung up the phone before Morton could argue any further. The minute the line went dead, a rush of relief washed over him. He hadn't realized how tense he'd been until the high-pressure call was over. Adrenaline still coursed through his veins, leaving him hyper and on edge. Whew, he exclaimed, although he never admitted. He found himself wishing he could borrow one of Maria's silly aromatherapy bottles. Talk about performing without a net. Isabel watched him with wide, worried eyes. Was that him? She whispered hoarsely. Is he coming? Oh, yeah, Michael said with complete certainty. Morton couldn't pass up a meeting with a stranger who seemed to know so much about his illicit arrangement with Lieutenant Ramirez. He's coming, all right. Okay, Max, he thought, taking a deep breath to come down from his adrenaline high. I've done my part. Now it's your turn.
My goodness. It's getting good. It's getting more intense. The words are getting bigger. How will we ever complete this book?
Yeah.
It's attaché, I believe.
Attaché. I've probably been saying it wrong this entire time.
I don't even know what it means.
Yeah. I think we'll be able to easily get through 17 and 18 tomorrow.
I think
not
so.
Tomorrow, but next week.
It's like we just want to read every night almost.
I was like, we do, but tomorrow. Like,
no, my husband's like, are you going to do laundry ever?
Yeah.
I can't. I've got reading tonight.
I'm doing laundry in the middle of like everything else I have going on, so I'm constantly multitasking.
Multitask queen. Nice.
I try.
Well, I can't wait to hear Jess talk about the chapters and what's to come, and how wonderful Earth Girls Are Easy was, and how she can't wait to watch that every other day. So really excited to hear feedback on that. And that was Alex's.
We are going to stop for now. I think we had a lot to get through yesterday. And so yes. I want to make sure we get the recap in, and hopefully Instagram copes with us and lets me say
well,
goodbye.
Before we jinx us, I'm going to peace out. Thanks, everybody. Jess, can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Reading versus laundry, Michelle. That's funny, Jody Lynn. That's so true. Root word means, what did What do you say, Rachel? Root word means attached just because usually it's a briefcase. Yeah. Okay. Interesting to know. All right. Let's see if I can get Jess on here. Hopefully you're ready, Jess. I hope you're ready, Jess. Hope you've put yourself in a room away from the kids or something. By the way, the mango passion tea lemonade at Chick-fil-A, the bomb. You guys should get some. It's good. All right. Come on, Jess. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay.
Oops. It's a light.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, I'm putting myself in the room now. I was running. Okay. There's stuff in my way. Okay.
I probably could have asked you if you were ready before I brought
Oh my God, I was like, I'm on. I gotta go. Running. Yeah. Hi.
Hello.
We're doing laundry too. There's like laundry everywhere. I just tripped over it getting in here.
It's laundry day for all of us. Yay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Laundry day. It's like I ran out of clean pajamas, so because I'm working from home. So
yeah. I gotta figure out I gotta wash all my masks and figure out which one I'm gonna wear all day in the airport, like Friday. The one that is breathable.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be hot too.
What I'm gonna have to do now when I
yeah, Indianapolis is you have to wear a mask, period. They just mandated it today. So
yeah. They mandated it here for all public buildings. So, but I'm assuming that's pretty much any public place I go. I'm gonna wear one.
Yeah.
I think the only place I could get a break from it is when I go into the bathroom stall where no one's looking and just breathe freely for like two minutes, and then
If you have asthma and stuff like that, you don't have to wear it. But I don't know how they're gonna mandate that. Are they gonna be like, I need your asthma license?
Show your card that says I have asthma.
I have no idea. No idea. I have one. I just got to remember to bring it. I always forget it because I'm not used to it, So I'll be like, crap. I'll go to the store and I'll be like, man, most of the time I try not to go anyway. I'll make my husband do it. But now we're both home, so it doesn't matter. So fun times. I'll be happy when I don't have to use it because I read people's lips anyway because my hearing. And I don't know what's going on.
Reading people's lips.
I have to. Yeah.
So technically I'm going to Chicago, but I have to fly into Indianapolis because Chicago has placed restrictions against my state of Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, and a bunch of other southern states to fly into Chicago without a 14-day quarantine, which I am not doing a 14-day quarantine. So I have to fly to Indianapolis, and my dad is driving me 3 hours in Chicago. We were gonna do Milwaukee, but Milwaukee was way more expensive right now.
Yeah.
I booked out another 2-3 weeks. So he's like, just come now. We'll just fly you into Indianapolis and I'll drive you. And I'm like, okay. So
that's a long drive.
Jess, who's in Indiana. I'm like, hey, how close are you to Indianapolis?
I am an hour and 45 minutes from the airport. I'm trying to make it work. I'll make it work somehow. I'll be like, I'm going to leave halfway through the door.
I would say, hey.
Oh, no, I want to. I told my husband, I'm like, she's in New Orleans. We're not going to get it down there anytime soon. We have to. So I just don't want work to get mad. That's the only thing. So we can take off whenever. He can, but me, I'm just going to be like, hey. I'm going to leave early today. So, yeah, we're trying to figure it out. So, I'll keep you posted. We'll talk about that. So, yeah, I watched that movie.
How is the movie that was referenced in the book?
So, a couple of things caught my attention.
People who didn't hear what it was called yesterday. Aliens
are easy? No. Girls from Earth are Something like that. I don't remember. That's bad. Earth Girls are easy. Sorry, Earth Girls are easy. Yes. It has Jeff Goldblum, pre-Jurassic Park days, and Jim Carrey. And they both look like they're in their early 20s.
Oh, wow.
And it's got, is it Damon Wayans? Yeah, Damon Wayans was in it. So she kept talking about it, and I was like, I'm going to find it. And I found it for free on the app. And it's definitely a 1980s movie. Definitely.
I love 80s movies.
Like, they burst into song a couple times, and I was like, is this a musical? Like, my husband and I were like, they're singing again. What's going on here? Weird, random times. I love it that the main character that Jeff Goldblum plays has got this crazy long name, and she calls him Mac. I kept hearing Max the whole time. I was like, no, it's Max. No, Mac, it's Mac. But it was a cute story, very different. I liked it. But definitely 1980s. I was like, this is weird. They're like furry aliens that crash. They're looking for women, and they crash into her pool.
Well, I just looked it up. So even if you have the IMDb app, which is free to download, and you go to imdb.com and just search Earth Girls Are Easy, it'll come up and it's completely free.
Yeah, I did it off that, I don't even know, some really pink app that I've never heard of before. Because everything else, I had to rent it. But Michelle told me which one to use, and I used that one. I don't remember what it was. But, you know, it's definitely screams Alex. Because I don't remember what his comment he made about that movie was, but it definitely screamed Alex. Because it was funky, weird, like Alex is.
It was
definitely...
like 3 or 4 chapters ago? I can't remember what.
Yeah, it was it was a couple of chapters ago. But it was interesting. I was going to look it up and read that to see what he said about it because I forget. But there's a part where he held a CD to his ear and he was listening to it. It reminded me of Isabel. And like he had these crazy powers that can make people like kind of do what they want. So he said the movie was terrible. First 10 times you watch it. I was like, well.
80s movies are like just so bad that they're really enjoyable and they're actually good if you can see past all of that. So.
I was like, well, that was an hour and half of my life. I can't get back. I was laughing. It's different. But I mean, I like that was. I said I was doing research. That's what I told my husband. I'm doing research. I like stuff like that's fun. I might watch it another time, Michelle, but not for a while. Not unless I'm in the mood for hey, let's watch something stupid. You know, stupid funny. But yeah. So I like 80s movies too, so I'm like, but see, I like The Labyrinth and like The Dark Crystal. Those are two of my favorites. My favorite too.
Favorite 80s movie besides like Some Kind of Wonderful. Like Labyrinth is literally like my number one.
I love that. You know they're doing a second one, right? Did you hear? No. And Sarah McConnell. Yeah, there's Labyrinth 2 is coming out for sure, and Jennifer Connelly's coming back for it. Yeah. So they were talking about it. I posted it. It's on my Facebook page. Go read it. But I was worried about it because, you know, David Bowie's dead. But they were talking about if he's needed for scenes, they're going to CGI him. Like they did with Carrie Fisher, which would work.
I want to do that.
Well, if you watch Star Wars, in her scenes, they took other footage of her and they cropped it and they fit it in. And you don't know she's not dead. Like, they did it so well. So the technology's around, they can do that.
With his voice, they crop like stuff.
Well, they crop the voice too. They can modify all that. All the computer technology can do that. But the rumor, because this is after The Labyrinth, so this story is about her grown up after everything happened, and to continue. I wonder if it's going to have her kid. I don't know. So he may not even be in it. We don't know but the director is. What did he do? but I don't remember what movie he did, but he's a famous guy and he did pretty good. I mean, I'm a little skeptical because it's one of my favorites. But did you see the prequel to Dark Crystal? Did you see that on Netflix?
I haven't even watched Dark Crystal, which I've been meaning to. I'm sorry. No. I know. I will. I'll get to it eventually.
That's ridiculous.
I have a lot going on. You know how busy
I know. Girl, I know.
5 million things always going on.
Well, when you have time, you can do it like that then. Do the prequel first. Then you can watch the movie. It's great. And it was so good. And they did it the puppets are immaculate. Like I'm skeptical with that kind of stuff because I love the original so much. And they did such an amazing job. I loved it. It did so good that they're going to have a season 2. They're going to put more into story in there. So I'm excited about that. I'm a dork. But that's kind of stuff I like anyway. Oh, man. A lot of people said it scared the crap out of them.
Michelle said, have any of you read the article about the labyrinth that said it sparked an early sexual awakening in young kids in the late 80s?
Because of his package. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, his crotch, yes. I mean, that's the one thing in Labyrinth where I'm like, don't look below the waist. Don't look below the waist. I
mean, first of all, it's a man in tights. I mean, I don't care. Like, I watched Robin Hood Men in Tights. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, I was like, his package is just, I don't see, it's David Bowie. To me, it wasn't, some people think he's like the sexiest thing. I don't think he's that. I mean, he's all right. I like his voice. I liked his music, and I like that. I didn't sexualize him like that. I thought it was cool, the dynamic between him and Sarah, but...
Honestly, that was a little creepy for me. The whole thing where it looked like he wanted to be with a 16-year-old girl. I was like, that's... Like,
well, you know, she was 14 at the time when they filmed it, and he said, I felt like a creeper when we would dance and stuff.
Oh, good.
He did say
he felt like
he knew it.
I felt like that was seriously creepy as hell in the movie. I was
yeah,
like,
you gotta... I have this...
secretly be
like
the 16-year-old girl. Like, it's crazy.
I have the special edition, and it has the behind-the-scenes stuff, because that was one of the best things that Jim Henson ever did. I want to get the book. They have like a book of all the drawings and stuff. I want to get that, but I haven't.
Michelle
I just love
said
it.
They were originally supposed to kiss, but David was not about to have it because Jennifer was only 15. That's sick. I'm glad he said no.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
I always wondered, they looked like they were going to, but I was like, ooh. But yeah.
I know, it kind of looked like they were going to go there. I'm like, please don't go there. Please don't go there. Like, that's disgusting to me. Oh my gosh, no.
I know, we got off some.
It's not legal.
Yeah. So what do you think of the book so far? It's heating up.
Yeah, it's getting good. I liked the Liz's journal entry, honestly, because I loved always hearing it on the show. And then, of course, I like all the Max and Liz moments. And then the Michael and Maria moments we had was great. And I liked when Michael was like, I could really use some of Maria's aromatherapy oils at the end. I thought that was funny. And that's a nice little anecdote there.
As we go with more of the books, we'll get a lot more Michael and Maria moments. We were talking about it in the Facebook page. Somebody said that Nightscapes was her favorite because they get to go in their own separate rooms for a night with their lovers. And so we get a really good Michael and Maria moment that's really funny and totally them. Like, I laughed the whole time. And they have this back and forth. And Liz and Max go in their own room, and they're not married yet, but they like both buy this like little lingerie for their boys, and she wants to try it on for her. It doesn't happen. No, I mean, nothing ever happens because, it never happens with them. But the way it's set up, it's really cute. But as we progress more, you get to see more of their dynamic together. And I really love that. I do. And Maria, she feels like an outsider because she's the only one of all of them that doesn't have powers. So she's like, so I don't count because I don't have powers, especially towards the end, because they're going to fight this special unit. And she's like, well, and Michael won't let her. He's like, I don't want you to because you're going to get hurt. And she's like, let me tell you something, space boy. I've been putting up with you for all this time. You're not going to tell me no. So she uses her own wit. She uses her own ways to be able to help them. So I do love that we have lots of Michael and Maria moments coming. We've got lots of all of them coming. So And right now we're about to, the next chapter is Max and Liz moment where they're about to get caught. Yeah.
Oh, in the motel
Oh,
room.
that nothing like that. Oh yeah, they're gonna sneak into his hotel room. Bad situation to be in. Yep, it's gonna be fun. Or better run out of there fast. So yeah, it's starting to heat up.
Oh, good to know.
I know. I don't know how many chapters do we have left? Like 5 or 6?
Let's see. We are going to be on page 175.
Yeah.
And we have till page 2 something. Oh, we have an epilogue, so we have to go all the way to page 276. So we have about 100 pages to go.
That's not too bad.
Let's see when the last chapter is. 27. So we got 10 chapters left. Plus
yeah, we got two more books of this author too. Because the Little Green Men and I think Little Green Men and No Good Deeds are written by the same guy. But I don't remember the words being that crazy in those. But
you want me to see if they are?
I think they are. That guy uses some big words, man. Big words. You have the board game? Of course you do.
I know. I want that board game.
I don't have that. That's cool. If we ever get together, you better bring it. You have to, because now we gotta play that.
Yeah, they're written by the same authors. They're same author.
I don't remember him having crazy words, but I could be wrong.
So it's not Greg Cox, because this one's Greg Cox, just him. And these two are by the same two authors, which is Dean Wesley Smith and Christine Rush.
Good. That's good, because that's why it sounds different. Good. I mean, I don't have anything against the Greg guy, but he likes those big words. And I don't think that those are written more like teenagers, I think. So I know they don't have them drinking hot sauce out of the bottle.
That's ridiculous.
I know, it drives me crazy every time I read it.
Every time I read it too, I'm like, no.
Ridiculous. Hey, so speaking of that, did you figure out if we're going to write the publishing company or what to say to them?
Yeah, see, I wanted to do that yesterday, and I wanted to do it today too, but I got, other things that are
you're fine.
in my life right now.
I get that. Yeah. Trust me.
I'm working for a friend of mine who's got her own consulting company, and she's employing me as a copywriter, which is great because I have not been able to use my copywriting skills in like a freaking year. So, other than, like little stuff that I do, like creative stuff.
Right.
So I haven't been able to use it in a creative capacity, like job-wise, in a year. So I've been working at my church's thrift store, which is so not my thing. That was only meant to be temporary. And then this pandemic happened, and that all went to crap.
Totally get it.
So I'm kind of stuck there for right now. I've applied to other jobs, but, it's very hard to find a job in the creative field if you don't really know the right people. And then also if you don't have like a big portfolio.
Oh, yeah.
Your work. And I lost a lot of what could have been my portfolio because the church changed systems. Like they used to use Google Docs and now they use something else. So I lost a lot of my copy work, which sucks. So I'm kind of starting a little bit basically from scratch. So it kind of like, it really sucks. So hopefully I will build up my portfolio for this new job that I'm going to have and it'll be fine. But it's very difficult because I've applied to jobs and then I hear nothing and it's very discouraging and I get easily discouraged. I don't know about you guys, but if I don't hear anything back or I get a no, I'm just like, well, why did I waste my time then? Like, that's where my mind goes. So.
Well, it's really bad right now with the pandemic anyway because everything's closed.
Well, everyone wants a job online now. Everyone wants a remote job now, especially now because of this pandemic. So I'm fighting against thousands of other people who are wanting the same job.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh yeah,
it
that
sucks.
doesn't help either.
No. So I'm
So
kind of in
we
that spot.
oh yeah, I get it. But, you know, you'll find it. It's out there. You just got to find the right hook at the right time.
Yeah, so
That's,
if
you
you know
know,
anyone who's looking for a copywriter, like I'm here.
there you
I'm
go.
available for
That
anybody's
works.
needs too. I'm multi-talented here, so which is why I was
There you
trying to
go.
get to that semifinals of that contest, and I didn't quite make it. But I'm gonna be in Jen Lily's music video for "On the Street Where You Live," so hey.
There you go. There you go. It's the little things. Get that way.
Little things. So hopefully,
Right.
one day
Right.
I'll finally like get there, and I'll be like, oh, good, I made it again, because my job working for my church was like the closest I've actually made it to like an actual adult job that I actually like doing.
So when you sent that package to Sherry, did you put anything else special in it besides the letter?
Just a note saying,
Just a note.
thank you for taking the time. You can
That's
make it out
sweet.
to Christy. And that was a very short note, because anything I wanted to say to her, I said to her in that email I sent before. So I'm good. I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, I probably could have sent like little green men and had her sign it, but I didn't think about it. So it's gone. It's off. So there was really not much I could fit in there anyway, because the way I packaged it was in a moisture resistant bubble wrap thing with cardboard that I cut out from a box, like an old box I wasn't using anymore. And so I cut that up and I slid the picture in there, and then I, self-addressed it and everything and put it in priority mail. So she should have it by tomorrow, and then she's gonna let me know when she mails it back to me. She's been very sweet
cool
about it. I love Sherry. She's definitely like my favorite now for even more reasons than she was my favorite before. But she's definitely like,
Are you gonna frame that sticker? You gonna frame the sticker and put it underneath her picture?
Oh yeah, I should do that.
That's what I do because, well, so funny story. I bought stickers, which I told you about, and I didn't look at the size, and now I have poster. And I was like, I get this huge package today. It was like a big, huge roll. I was like, what? My husband's like, your name's on it. I thought, that better not be my crash down memories. I'll be mad, because then that'll take forever to iron out. It wasn't. It was my sticker. I bought the wrong size, but it's okay. I mean, I'm going to frame them, but I was like, oops, that was supposed to be small. Oh, well. I'm really going to run out of room on my wall.
You got a big Jason sticker size poster now, which I'm sure that your husband really loves that.
He has to look at his signed autograph in the Future Max one, too, so it's just more for my Jason wall. I told him I could put it in the bedroom above our bed if it made him feel better, and he just went, he went, sometimes he goes, so.
We got less than 2 minutes, so ask your questions now. And by the
Yeah.
way, Rachel, I saw your comment. Thank you for the encouragement. I need all the encouragement I can get, because it's not easy being me with that whole job thing. It's not. It's really not. So.
Oh no. But it's not fun right now. The stupid virus needs to go away.
It's not fun for anybody. It's not fun for anybody in this job market. It's just
no.
It's not
so next Tuesday or next Monday, we're gonna do Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to try to get this done, or?
I was gonna look it up, and we might not do Monday depending on when my flight comes back in, because I might be exhausted. B,
right.
I'm not sure
oh yeah.
My flight arrives. I think it arrives it arrives at 8:40 at night, so we're not going to do Monday, unfortunately. Tuesday and Wednesday, though, you got me down. So
okay.
Tuesday and Wednesday, we're not going to be able to do Monday because flying back in and everything. I don't want to be having a live at 10, 11 o'clock your time.
When do you have to go back to Indy on Monday? What time?
3:40 in the afternoon.
One of those days I'm gonna. If I can't do Friday, then I'll do Monday.
Well, let me know if you're gonna do Monday so I can plan ahead and leave like at least an hour earlier or something with my dad, and we can.
Okay. One of the days I'm gonna pick because we're gonna do this
Yeah.
since you're close. I want to get all of us together somehow someday.
So we're about to get cut off. So hopefully we'll finish the book next week. If not, it might take us another week, and that'll be that. So join us again Tuesday, and then Saturday we'll do our